أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. We welcome all of us to this Tuesday Family Talim. We want to appreciate us for coming early enough. We seek refuge with Allah against Shaitan, the accursed. We thank Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. We thank him for giving us another beautiful opportunity tonight to come together to learn more about our deen and to ruminate and interact on issues that affect our life so that we can know how to navigate the bends of life to take maximum opportunity of the advantage Allah has given us on the surface of the heart to work righteous deeds that will give us great reward when we meet Allah. So we want to appreciate us once again. Tonight we have to go on with our usual discussion. We are treating Suratul Nisah, but we have some issues have been addressed or raised. As Allah will have it, I don't know whether I should say I have the privilege of telling us that Imam might not be able to join us tonight. So you need to take some rest and you have to continue to grant some of the issues that have been raised. Particularly, three fundamental issues have been considered in this Suratul Nisah that we have been addressing since about a few weeks back. The issue of inheritance have been discussed to a very reasonable extent. We know we cannot exhaust the issue of inheritance because our society these days have made it mandatory for us to seek some more deeper knowledge of sharing the estate of any disease. We have started to acquire things that are very difficult to divide into pieces. So, but we still need to undo them because we are Muslims. Equally, the issue of divorce has been raised. It has been discussed. We have discussed it severally. But the recent issue that came into our discussion is this issue of lesbianism and all these sexual perversions. So we inshallah open the discussion for us to enrich and interact. Hoping that inshallah any issue that is raised that you cannot trash, you pass it across to Imam. It's going to be part of the issues going to address next week with Qudratullah. This issue of sexual perversion, sexual disorientation is very worrisome. Personally, I look around and see that when we look at some of the issues that ravage our society, that make people to want to wonder whether the world is coming to an end, we see that unfortunately, Muslims are the forefront of all the disorientated attitudes. If you look at the issue of this transgender, we see that the most prominent of them in Nigeria today has a Muslim background. And when you look at the issue of some other misbehavior too, one will be disturbed that you have to mention a lot of Muslims among these affected personalities. When you talk of 419 or scammers, you see Muslim names coming out prominently. Uspushi, or what do you call his name, is there. When you look at those who have decided to be wayward somehow, you can't rule out active participation of Muslims, especially Muslim youths. This makes us to wonder whether Muslim families still hold Quran in high esteem, whether we have not turned Quran to just object of claim alone. I'm sorry to refer to this. In the recent past, a video go viral, though a rejoinder has been made to it, or a correction has been made of one of our daughters, who people are so pissed off with her appearance, reciting the Quran fluently. When you look around, you see that Muslim children, Muslim families are not immune from the evils in the society. And one tend to wonder whether all the efforts being made are not going to waste. This, to me, goes a long way to tell us that as Muslim family, as Muslim parents, we have a lot to do. Like I always say, we have to take the raising of our children as a spiritual warfare more than any other thing. We have to be passionate about raising our children. We have to be more responsible. We have to be more responsive. So some of these sexual disorientation appear to be appealing to Muslim youths who are not supposed to even take example from other people. I want to keep on saying Rasulullah Sallam is our model par excellence. Do we even as parents really grind this and understand it deeply? Do we communicate it adequately enough to our children? Do they really understand where we are coming from and where we are going? Do they really appreciate where we are taking them to? Are we responsible and responsive enough for them to say 100% into two, they are going to follow our footsteps? Are we ourselves put and confident enough that we are worthy of emulation for our children? If you keep on saying Rasulullah is our model par excellence, we have to reflect this model par excellence so that our children can equally reflect us. But we can't avoid it. Our children are going to mirror us. They are going to give us a glimpse of who we are in the sight of the society, in the sight of the deen, and in the sight of our Creator. So this and some other things have made us to be somewhat disturbed and worried. Are Muslim children actually immune from the evils of the society? Are we supposed to be unconcerned about building a fortress around them so that the evils of the society will not sweep them away? How many so-called even Muslim daughters in Kimor today don't get involved in some sexual disorientation? How many of our boys are able to say are sane and sound and good to go when we leave them for just few days, or we give them a little gap to act or to live independently? Can we confidently say that we are happy, we are at home, we are at peace with our children who are in school? So the issue of last week that was raised about this gay lesbianism and not the rest, and the rate at which it is eating deep into the fabric of the society, should make us to be concerned. So for tonight, we will want us to just make it an interactive whatever, hear our view, raise issues, ask questions, so that we all look at these issues together. We have people who can help us out present among us. We have some imams here, and we have some good and reliable Muslim brothers here. We are all good and reliable brothers, but we know when we raise issues, we can reason together. Our national coordinator is here. Like I've told us, the man might not be able to join us tonight, but we can further some of the discussions we have had in the recent few weeks back, enrich them, expand them, and hear our view. This is the way we are going to go about it tonight. May Almighty Allah make it easy and accept for us and accept whatever little we are able to do as act of ibadah. So the door is open. We want us to raise questions, raise issues, hear our view, enrich past discussions that have been made. We are still considering Suratul Nisah. I think we have reached verse between 15 and 20, where we discuss the issue of inheritance and the rest. Pray to Almighty Allah to forgive us of our mistakes and shortcomings. So the door is open for us to contribute, raise fresh issues, or seek clarification on issues that have been raised or discussed in the past, or even ask questions. Brother Razak is equally here, and we pray to Almighty Allah to forgive us our mistakes. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Salam wa barakatuh.
So let us raise our digital hands. If you have anything to contribute, anything to raise, I only just try to open the discussion by reminding us of the fact that the evil in the society tends to be more telling on the Muslim youth who have a kind of an adila, who have a way of life to follow and are contending with these negative evil forces in society. When you go to the universities to meet them, you see they have a lot of complaints. When they feel that the society should be like what they know in their homes, they tend to be destabilized and rattled by conflicting negative things they meet in the larger society, to the extent that some of them kind of lose their immunity and they follow the trend. So let us talk. Let us raise our digital hand to indicate our readiness to enrich the discussion. We are waiting for us.
I think Ambassador Bakri has raised up his hand.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah, Barrister, you can unmute and make a contribution, sir. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
You are not audible, sir. We are not hearing you.
I'm not audible. That is okay. Let me see. Hello.
Okay, we are hearing you now.
Yeah, we are hearing you now, sir.
Very well. Now, my own contribution this evening will relate to the what I will call the Wududu of Allah. Allah in the Holy Quran informs us that engage in sex in any way that she prohibited us from having sex through the anus. This is what I will call the boundary, the limit he has forbidden us. But among the Muslims of nowadays, we see them engaging in anal sex, no for Allah forbidden us from engaging in anal sex. We must abstain from it. We must abstain from it. It does not lie out of any woman to say her husband demanded for it, and that she was like him. No. Must say no. No woman who wants to have anal sex with you. No. One of the prohibitions of. Then the other thing I want to mention also is with respect to the menstrual period. The menstrual period. Allah says we should not engage in sex when when the woman is in menstruation. That you should not approach her sexually. Not that you should not sit down with her, not that you should not sleep with her on the same bed, but that you should not have sex with her until she completes her period and takes a bath. She completes the period and takes a bath. Not that she completes the period, because it does happen that some women get honey immediately after completing their menstrual period. So they may invite the man. If the man is invited, you ask her to go and take a spiritual bath. She must an unkosher, notwithstanding that she has completed the menstrual period. Unable to quickly get the verse of the Holy Quran where Allah mentioned this to us. So please, they are the hudud of Allah that we must not fall. We must not violate. Appreciate that men or women who are looking for pregnancy, who have not been able to conceive for some time, will try having sex during their menstruation. My brothers and sisters, this is a no. On no conditions will we violate the Allah's injunction. So we must abstain from it. I will leave it at that for now, so that I will allow that brothers and sisters to make contributions on this issue or whatever issue that we discuss.
Okay, sir. Jazakallah khair, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, I expect Brother Kadidayo to say something. Dr. Architect Declare Abdulganesh Ikole here, and Professor Abdeli Shitu is here. So I expect the three of you to say something. But inshallah, I will give us 2 minutes or maximum of 3 minutes, so that as many people as possible will have the opportunity of saying something. So, and I expect Sister Asana Tokitokun to be warming up, and Elijah Mohiba Abdul. So at least those 5 people are excited to say something. So Bismillah. Yeah, Brother Razak, please go on, sir. 2-3 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, sir.
Alhamdulillah for today. On the issue raised by Bakri, the verse of the Quran in Suratul Baqarah that talk about abstinence from sex during sexual intercourse. There's an hadith in Muwatta Imam Malik where Elisha said to buttress what lawyer said. Elisha said anytime she's in a period and the prophet needs her, she will tie something between her navel and her knees. And the prophet will have. So what we are prohibited from is direct sex with the woman genitals. You can do other things like a romance until the man comes, but there should not be contact between the two organs. So that is what I read in Muwatta as it relates to what Bakri said. And as for what he said too, we should allow the woman to take a bath, not necessarily that the blood has stopped and then when the woman is horny and the man now want to have an affair. We should understand that if you look at that, I said, in Allah, you put our being while you hear Bulimutatoirin. And I love those who are lovers of cleanness and those who are always clean themselves, sinning from dirtiness. So we should just take note of what he has said, and then that's an addendum to what he has said. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, sir. Alaja Ibab Gafar, Sister Asana Sekretokun, Professor Situ, and Dr. Abdul Ganil. So, whoever has anything to say, yes. I don't know this gas, whether a man or a woman. Gas. Oh, okay. Wa alaikum salam. Ganiyu.
Abiyadun Sikiru.
You're secure, okay.
The first thing is the issue that my two elder brothers have spoken about. Well, I don't know whether it's to raise a question or to ask. Is it what is forbidden is coitus during the woman menstruation, or that the two parts should not have contact? So that's my question. What is my question on that is, what is it that coitus is forbidden during the woman's menstruation, or that the two organs should not have contact? But my contribution has to do with the issue of sexual perversion, especially as it relates to our children and youth of today. There's no denying the fact that a number of factors contribute significantly to this issue of sexual perversion. One of which, of course, significant is the issue of the proliferation and access to technology and access to internet. Is a major issue that our youths have to contend with. And I think, just like the moderator have said, as parents, we have to be what I call conscious parenting. My feeling is that most parents today are accidental parents or emergency parents. And because they are accidental parents, it seems as if we are not prepared for the role of parenting. I am convinced that there is no part-time parenting that will succeed, because parenting is really a serious and conscious effort, especially given the time we are today. A parent should be up to the task and should be engaging with the children and be on top of the game. But the challenge we have is that most parents seems to be preoccupied, both husband and wife seem to be preoccupied with acquisition of wealth are gainfully employed to the point that we don't really have time for parenting. And just like it was asked, that if we are saying that for us, there are a lot of values we had, how many of our children have this value? How many of us have been able to sell this value to our children? Do they really see us as role model, somebody to be emulated? Do things that we do, including this program, does it really appeal to them and attractive to them? Do we have the same value system? Do we have the same value system? For me, these are issues that begs for an answer. And unless and until we take parenting as conscious work and move away from this accidental parenting and emergency parenting to conscious parenting, we may be fast losing the next generation to the world of partial, what they call as sexual perversion. The concept of LGBT, whatever, with its plus, today is the plus simply means that it is endless. Today there are people, they are making advocate not for what they call what they used to call before now. I forgot it. The people who are attracted to children now they are making claim that they should be added to the plus of LGBT. So they call themselves minor attractive people or something, MAP. So these are the issues we are dealing with. To me, there's hardly anything that has been forbidden or people because have been destroyed before, except that our generation is trying not only to emulate them, but also to perfect them. May Allah save us from ourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khairah. So we appreciate your contribution. Yes, Professor A.J.K. Shitu. We hope your network is good tonight. Our sister Hassana Oketokun. Our sister Alaja Abdul Ghaffar. Or anybody whatsoever who has one thing or the other to contribute. Alaji Kosim Alabi, you are welcome.
Thank you, sir. I just joined now. You know, we're in different time zone. It is like past 3 o'clock where I am here. So I thought that I'm going early. So I wouldn't know what you are discussing, but I'm actually following you anyway. I'm following you.
Yes. We have been expanding on some recent issues that we discussed. LGTB, or what do they call it? All this general sexual disorientation, the issue of inheritance, and the issue of divorce that we have discussed. But it seems as if people are much more interested in the issue of sexual perversion and our children. That is what we met Brother Kanin discussing. So the Imam is not able to join us tonight for one reason or the other. Okay. So we are only saying we should expand on the issues we have discussed in the recent past, raise some fresh issues, or expatiate on those issues.
All right.
So Professor Situ. Alaja Abdul Ghaffar Muiba. Well, while we await further contributions we are just midway into the program for tonight. I want to tell us that we need to appreciate the fact that the evils in the society tends to affect our children more in school. Let me give us some personal practical examples. You see, unfortunately, some of our children have come home to report some terrible experience in school. One of them kept a laptop in our wardrobe in the school. Before coming back, the laptop have disappeared. You know, at home, we train them, if you see somebody's money or somebody's property, don't pick it. So maybe they are so used to that they feel whatever does not belong to you, you should not take it. They now think whatever does not belong to others too will not take it. So also, we have seen some of our children that they just leave their property like cloth and everything in their room or in front of their room. Maybe they spread their cloth there. Before they come back, those things have disappeared. Because at home, they are used to the fact that wherever they place their things are safe. When they go for program, among ourselves, even if they keep their things anywhere, they will eventually find it there when they come back. Some of them have become so careless or think that they are covered and protected. Equally, our children tend to be affected by the evils around in terms of relationship. I'm very sad to tell us of a particular story of one of our daughters, though she's a woman now. All these are, I'm sorry to say, move close to MSS. During her ND days, she was carefree, just going to mosque, and that was all. But participate more actively. You know, when they get to that age of HND, you are trying to orientate them to the fact that not that you are pushing them to relationship, but they should know that they are grown up and be serious and be interested in going out with conscious Muslims. And the general thing is that we push them to participate more actively in MSS activities. But you discover that some of these so-called brothers, because we tend to pay more attention to our gay child or gay children, we pay less attention, we detect perversion. It's more difficult for us to detect perversion in the female, in the male, but in the boys. So unfortunately, she was scammed, so to say, by somebody she thought was a very good brother because he was an MSS executive. As decent, as careful as the sister was. So she was introduced into this sexual whatever by a brother she met as an high school member of MSS. It's only God that helped us to recover the sister, because she swore that, look, when I was even carefree in my NDA, nothing happened to me. It is now that I come to be more active or more involved in religious activities that I met this kind of problem. So a lot of issues like that. So how Dr. Abdulrahman has said, we should be more conscious in our parenting now. Are we going to be following them to their schools every day, especially when they have become undergraduates? Is it not that we should equally be interested in how others also train their so-called Muslim children? Because we want them to interact with the Muslim family on their campuses. But there are some of these Muslim boys, Muslim girls on campus who are sexually wayward. And they come out. These days, human have become a very common thing. Even you see somebody who does not even want to put on scarf turning nowadays, putting on kimar now. They put on kimar, they put on the appearance. In as much as you cannot say drop the appearance, it's not just for us to be interested in how other Muslim students, Muslim children too, develop and behave. So may Allah assist us. The problem, okay. Razik's hand is up again. You can come up, please.
Yeah, sorry, sir. Just to respond as to what should be our attitude towards our children, and especially when it goes to boarding house, when they go to program, their attitude. May Allah bless my father-in-law. He used to tell us that it's like driving. Say when you are driving, you assume that you are the only sane person around, that every other person behind the wheel is a mad person. And so while you are driving, you are also helping them to drive along. I don't know if that makes sense. You become conscious not of your own driving alone, because if you are not conscious of their own driving, they could cause accidents for you. I think this is the method we should teach our children with. It is not enough to say, oh, in my house, I can spread my clothes anywhere. I can drop my laptop anywhere. You don't assume that every person is sane. In fact, you assume that every other person is insane. You are the only sane person around. And to that extent, you will have to help them to help themselves by not, one, placing your things where they can easily take it, where they can become, anybody with flat finger can take it. So this should be the kind of training we should give to them. That yes, why you trust yourself, every other person you have to be very careful. You have to help them to help themselves by not putting yourself or your things dust anywhere. And just like you have said, I think we should also let them understand that Islamic personality goes beyond costume. Because this is one of the mistakes we make. Because somebody wears khimar, because somebody wears beard, somebody wears jumping trousers, somebody wears niqab, we think it's an angel. I think we should start to orientate our children that it is not always true. That yes, costume is good, but it is primarily for identification. A number of people put it on not because they know the value, but because a number of people feel that they are more beautiful when they wear these things. In fact, it may interest you that it has become how do I put it now, a makeup. That hijab itself has become a makeup. I know sisters who are told that when they don't wear hijab, they are not as beautiful as when they wear hijab. So they wear hijab to be more beautiful, not because they want to cover their beauty. So these are the issues we have around. And it's a function of us knowing how to guide our children and guide the coming generation that Islam is not only about costume. Costume, yes, good for identification, but Islamic personality is first and foremost about Islamic mentality and Islamic disposition. Costume is costume. May Allah is our task. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Global Amira.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I appreciate you. Almighty Allah reward every one of us abundantly. May Almighty Allah continue to keep our Imam wherever he is and all of us. May Almighty Allah continue to be with us and guide us aright. My own contribution is on the issue of communal life. When we were growing up, we were children of everybody. But those of us on this platform now, how many of us can say boldly that we will not mind our children being accosted, being corrected? it has gone so bad that when you see children, our children or our grandchildren misbehaving, it becomes very difficult. The one that speaks becomes so I think we should start educating ourselves now that we need to go back, so that we go back to the communal life, whereby when you see that something is wrong, you correct it. And the person that is being corrected, or the parents, don't feel, and another aspect that we should really think seriously about is enjoy life. Mùsùlùmí wọ́n ní òwe tá a bá ní pé kékeré ni mùsùlùmí ti ń kọ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ lẹ́sìn. No matter how young, you find some of our children's, our grandchildren, when our children dress them up and you see them outside, you wonder, how can my child dress a female young girl up like this? What do you want that girl to become later? And when you try to ask her, why is this dress like, mommy, all these things, I think we should really think seriously about it. Then the issue of the LGBTQ, I think it is moving too close to us. And we need to, I think it was yesterday now in Delta State that about 100 people were arrested by the police. They were doing gay party and they were doing gay wedding or something. So it is getting too close for comfort. And this is the time that Muslims should rise up. If you are going to have whatever is in bills to be sponsored in the house, we don't want this thing, because by the time we say Jack, the thing will have been passed. Now our president is going to meet the president of America. Thank you very much for your audience. Assalamu alaikum.
I appreciate you. Yeah, Alhaji Qasim Arabi. And Alhaji
yes,
Qasim.
I'm here. I'm here. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And let me first appreciate everybody who has contributed one way or the other to this program today. And I want to align with what the Global Amira and Brad Abdugani, what they have said so far. But my comments will be in 2 or 3 folds. One has to do with the way our children are being raised today. The fact remains that many of our children today are taken after us. And they can only take after you if you are a good parent. I've come across children who have vowed never to get married. The question is why? Because they have always seen their father and their mother at loggerheads fighting on a daily basis. So they assume that is the way marriage is. I've seen instances in various homes anyway, that the children, they have vowed never to get involved in marriage at all, because the parents have not at all shown good examples. So we are the ones to lay the foundation, to show our children good examples anywhere they are. Our children should see us as their first teachers. I remember my daughter went to one school one day, and they asked her to remove her hijab. That was at Yabatek secondary school. And she said no. Eventually, one particular man came to the school. The man happened to be a Muslim. And of course, the school was far from where we were living. We were living at Lambe, to Yaba. You could see how the distance, from Lambe to Yaba at that point in time anyway. The man on his own volition decided to take my daughter as our own daughter. She was there for 2 years, no issue. But my daughter will only call me once in a while, that daddy, there are some issues that need to clarify for me as far as Islam is concerned. Maybe something I've never had before anyway. Then she will call me first to verify before she eventually agreed to do whatever they're doing with them in the first. So our children must first see us as first teachers. But the question today is, our children, do they see us as their teachers today? Of course, no. They take lessons. They take advice from outsiders. That is why that idea of we words is actually there. Having said that, I met a couple recently in UK. That was like a week ago. But they are not even Muslims. They said that once their children get to secondary school, they will send them back to Nigeria. Why? Because at the point in time in UK or abroad, they will not be able to control their children again because they will have that freedom. As it, for example, your children can do anything. They can decide to change their sex. They can decide to they can decide to do anything whatsoever. You know. So I think this issue, like I pointed out, this issue of LGBT has come to stay. It is in our midst today. And of course, they are trying to ensure that they force this down our throats today as Muslims as well. The question is, how do we get out of this issue? One, orientation. Secondly, we need to learn a lot about the evil of all these things and expose our children to the evil as well. Otherwise, we find ourselves to be finally on the issue of divorce. Divorce today is on the rampant. And unfortunately, you will discover that those who are divorcing today, many of them are actually Muslims. It's a pity that in Islam, we learn what Allah hates most, which He has allowed is divorce. But today, we are all involved in this issue of divorce. Why? And I think there are basically 2 or 3 issues. There are questions all these things today for us. Recently, I met someone. The person actually, someone very close to me in my mosque in those days. And of course, he married a very good sister. This brother too, when you see him, you will see him as Ahlul Sunnah. Oh, mashallah, is a very good brother. Unknown to us, this brother behind the scene is a terrible person. He was into drugs. At a point, he will beat his wife. And of course, nobody will know it, but because the wife will equally keep that. So we must tell our children when they are being abused in whatever way, in any relationship, they must talk. After 3 children now, the man became, he had mental issues. He was put somewhere or what have you. You won't believe that this person, when you see him, is Ahlul Sunnah. He has everything about his time in him. But unfortunately, he was into drug. There's so many things and what have you. And of course, one other thing today that I think has led to the height of divorce today is the issue of polygyny. Yes, polygyny is part of Islam. Nobody can say it's not part of us. But many brothers just go into it today with blind eyes. I once told someone, I said, look, Mr. Man, you are going into this issue. Don't come and mess up. Do not give Islam bad name. If you are going to go into it, the success lies in your hand as a man. The man makes or mars the house in the first instance. Because you cannot expect the person that it's not possible now. Oh my Joe, to the extreme. When it happens, you are the one to be patient. You are the one to be extremely patient and caution A and B and ensure nothing happens, negatively in between them. But today the reverse is the case. We go to the extreme. When we get second wife, we abandon the first wife, we abandon the children to the extent that things go the other way. So I want to caution here that whoever amongst us intends to go into polygyny, we must tread carefully. We must know that what we want from us is extreme patience now. Your patience does not have threshold. It has to be there forever. It has to be there because our wives cannot be better than whatever the anyway. They cannot in any way better than the because I want to joke now. So we not expect a woman. She's a Muslim and she understands. So understand what? She's a human being, But men forget a lot about all these issues. And more often than not, they cause problems for them. They cause problems in their various houses. So I want us to be extremely cautious in all these issues. LGTB issues has come to be part of us anyway. We are living with it day in and out, whether in Nigeria or abroad. It's part of us. But we must ensure that our children, they know the evils of all these things. Let them read about it, discuss this issue with them as well. When you are in KU, I know of a teacher, one of my teachers who was bisexual. He was bisexual. We were nearly introduced to him. It was Allah's Rama that were not introduced to that issue. So these are the issues. At the same time, let us pray that when we are going to any one of us who is going to venture into polygyny should please tread carefully. These are the issues we are battling with on daily basis now. We ask Allah to rectify all our issues. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Professor Sutu, I will give you just 2 minutes because I've been calling you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, thank you for that. I just want us to look at a way out, because when we are looking at the younger generation, which I'm also included, I have observed something recently. You've seen newly married individual that before you know it, the wife is back home. And when you try to find out what is the problem, the man is into the drug, the brother is into the drug. I think we should introduce drug test before the nikah. The family of the husband and wife should try to introduce that one. Just like the way we introduce all these HIV check, all other check, either they are compatible or not. I think drug is an issue now. We should not take it lightly, but we are having issues on this kind of a thing. Perhaps if you can be pragmatic in that way, maybe we can solve some problem. Wallahu Allah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, I want to thank all of us for this robust contribution. We keep on to talk about it over and over again, because our homes are our fortresses. Our homes are our bunkers. Once there are issues in the home, our personality will be distorted, our peace will be disturbed, and we might lose everything eventually. Unfortunately, a lot of us have failed to realize the fact that bí ẹ̀dẹ̀ ò bá dùn, bí ẹ̀dẹ̀ ò bá dùn, bí ìgbẹ́ nílùú rí. That is why we have to struggle at all costs to make sure that we create peace in our homes. Peace in our homes is non-negotiable. We have to do all things possible to make sure that we create peaceful atmospheres in our homes. And everything and anything that can threaten the peace in our home, we have to work assiduously against them. Some of these things are the issues we have raised. So a child that has been disorientated cannot be a source of peace in the home. His behavior is going to always be ultra-biased to whatever everybody is doing. We pray to Allah to continue to help us. As I said at the beginning, raising children have become a spiritual warfare now. Say what you need to say, but go back to the inner part of your room and pray to Allah that Allah should not make your children source of fitna for you. That Allah should not make our children sources of fitna for us. It is a big fact. It is a very big question. So may Allah continue to help all of us. A lot of our fathers are crying. A lot of highly privileged Muslims are crying internally because of the fitna coming from the waywardness of their children. So, and all these children are our children. We have to go back to the communal life. We have to start the example right from now. How will our brothers Abdul see me as their father? How will my children see the national coordinator as their father? And with all this, we still try and keep the Islamic limits. May Allah assist us. So, national coordinator, over to you, sir.
Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Thumma salatu wa salam ala Rasul. I'm very happy today that we still have another opportunity to interact, to talk to ourselves. And I'm a bit more elated that despite the absence of the Imam, I can see us granting some issues and having some take-homes. I thank all our brothers that have contributed, have to make the day for us, and all those people that we were called. Please, next time, even if it's to say Salama or send a chat message that maybe you are not available or you cannot talk where you are, it's out of respect to our coordinator that should answer him when he calls your name. So we pray Almighty Allah to reward all of us, accept this as act of ibadah, and make our house, our individual different homes, a part of the journey for us. Because when the house is not a place of peace, like we do say, when we are starting a program in Lagos Day chapter, we call it Peace of the Two Worlds. So if you are not peaceful, if you don't enjoy this life, I don't know, we have not been to the hereafter, you might not be able to enjoy the hereafter as well. Let all of us work very hard. It's really hard work. I will not deceive you. Both sides, with the father, with the mother, with the children, and with other stakeholders. You should be able to sit down in our different houses and look at who are the stakeholders. And when you do stakeholders analysis, stakeholder management, you will be able to come up and say, these are the critical stakeholders. You divide it into two, critical stakeholder, non-critical stakeholder, and you live with it, and you try to train your family with it. We continue to thank Allah that is giving us the opportunity to still live. Some of our brothers, some of our sisters that have gone now, we'll see. So some of the family are getting better. I pray Almighty Allah to make our life easier for us and make everything we do and accept this as act of ibadah. Jazakumullah khairan for your attention and for attending. And I pray Allah to increase you in your risk in all the resources and afia, and give us long life with good work. Till next week, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
ورحمة الله وبركاته. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. ربنا وجعلنا مسلمين لك ومن ذرياتنا أمة مسلمة لك وارنا مناسكنا وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وأجلنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. بارك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك إليك. سبحان ربك رب العزة
والسلام على المرسلين